close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Tonight you are not going anywhere stressful. You are not going anywhere cold or dark or uncertain. Tonight you are going somewhere ancient and warm and deeply familiar, even though you have never been there before. It will feel like coming home. We are going to ancient Rome, not the Rome of battles and emperors and great political speeches, not the Rome you read about in history books. We are going to the quiet Rome, the Rome of dusty roads and olive trees and small fires burning at the edge of camp, the Rome of a man walking home. His name is Gaius Valerius Rufus. He is 41 years old, and tonight, after 20 years of serving in the Roman legions, he is finally going home. Just let that settle for a moment. 20 years. He left when he was 21 years old. He left from a small town called Capua in the green rolling countryside south of Rome. He left with nothing but a soldier's pack and the particular courage of a young man who does not yet fully understand what he is walking into. And now, 20 years later, he is walking back. We are going to walk with him tonight. We are going to feel the road under our feet, and the evening air on our skin, and the particular quiet of the Italian countryside as the sun goes down. And somewhere on that long, slow, peaceful road home, you are going to fall asleep. There is nothing you need to do tonight, nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to figure out. Just walk with Gaius. Just let the story carry you. We begin at sunset. The sun is going down over the hills west of Rome. It is going down slowly, the way the sun always goes down in late summer in Italy. Not dropping quickly behind the horizon, but spreading itself out across the sky in long horizontal bands of colour. Orange near the horizon, above that a deeper red, almost the colour of old wine. Above that a pale gold, and above all of that the first suggestion of the deep blue that will be the full night sky in another hour. Gaius Valerius Rufus stands at the edge of the road and watches it. He has seen 10,000 sunsets in 20 years of soldiering. He has watched the sun go down over the Rhine River in Germania, where the sky turns a cold violet and the air smells of pine and river mud. He has watched it go down over the desert in Judaea, where the light turns everything the colour of copper and the shadows stretch impossibly long across the sand. He has watched it from hilltops and riverbanks and the sides of roads in a dozen different provinces of the Roman Empire. But he has not watched it go down over these particular hills, these green, gentle, familiar hills south of Rome. He has not watched it go down over home. He stands there for a long moment. He does not move. He does not say anything. He just watches. And something in his chest, something that has been held tight for a very long time, begins very slowly to loosen. The colour changes as he watches. The orange deepens. The red spreads wider. The thin line of gold above it brightens briefly, almost painfully bright, and then softens. A flock of birds crosses the sky from east to west, small birds moving in a loose group. Their shapes dark against the coloured sky. They pass without sound, or if they make a sound, it is too far away to hear. And then they are gone beyond the ridge. Gaius watches the empty sky where they were. He has always found something restful about birds in flight, something about the ease of it, the way they move through the air without effort, without strain, just moving, just going where they need to go. He picks up his pack from where he set it down at the side of the road. The pack is lighter than it used to be. 20 years ago, when he first marched out of Capua, his soldier's pack weighed so much that the straps cut into his shoulders, and he could feel every step of every mile in his feet, and his back and his neck. He remembers thinking on that first march that he would never get used to the weight. He was wrong. After a few months, the pack stopped feeling heavy. After a year, it stopped feeling like anything. The body learns. The body always learns. But now the pack is genuinely lighter because it holds different things. Not the full kit of an active soldier, not the tools of war, just the things a man carries when he is going home. A change of clothes, a small clay jar of olive oil, a piece of hard cheese wrapped in cloth, a handful of dried figs that he bought from a stall outside the city gates 2 days ago, a few coins in a small leather pouch, a folded piece of cloth that once belonged to his mother. He does not know why he carried it all these years. He just did. It smells of nothing anymore. 20 years of being folded in a pack has taken whatever smell it once had, but he carried it anyway, and a small bronze figure of Mercury, the messenger god, that he bought from a market stall in Antioch 7 years ago and has carried ever since, not because he is particularly religious, just because it is small and fits in his palm, and there were many nights far from home when holding it in his hand in the dark helped him sleep. He does not know if he will need it anymore. He hopes he will not need it anymore. He slings the pack over his shoulder and starts walking. The road south is the Via Appia, the great road, the oldest road in the Roman world. It runs from Rome all the way south to the heel of Italy, straight and precise and paved with large flat volcanic stones that were laid down 300 years ago, and that have not shifted since. This is the road that Roman armies have marched on for centuries. This is the road that Gaius himself marched north on 20 years ago. Going in the opposite direction, a young man with everything ahead of him, and now he walks south on it in the early evening light, an older man, going home. The road is mostly empty at this hour. The midday travellers have reached their destinations. The evening travellers have not yet begun. There are a few carts in the distance, moving slowly, probably merchants heading to smaller towns along the route. There is a man walking in the same direction as Gaius, about half a mile ahead, just a dark shape against the pale road, moving at a steady pace that suggests someone who walks long distances regularly. And there are birds, the evening birds of the Italian countryside, swallows moving in wide, fast arcs above the fields on either side of the road, catching insects in the last light. The swallows are extraordinary flyers. Gaius has watched them many times over the years. The way they change direction without any apparent effort, one moment going left and then instantly going right. Up and then down, the air is no obstacle to them. The air is their element. They move through it the way fish move through water, completely at home. He watches them for a while as he walks. His feet carry him forward while his eyes follow the swallows, and somewhere in the scrubby trees that line the road at intervals, a single bird singing. Gaius does not know the name of the bird. He never learned the names of birds. It is something he always meant to learn and never got around to. There were always other things. Perhaps now that he has time, he will learn them. The names of the birds of Capua, the names of the flowers in the fields around it, the names of the stars that appear over those particular hills in those particular seasons. All the small specific knowledge of a place that you can only have if you stay. He has not stayed anywhere in 20 years. It is a strange thought. To stay, the bird in the trees sings its 3 notes, high and then lower, and then high again, over and over, as if it has something important to say and needs to keep repeating it until someone understands. Gaius listens to it as he walks. His feet know the road. Feet that have walked 10,000 miles of roads in 20 years do not need to think about walking. They just walk. And his mind, which has also worked very hard for 20 years, begins very slowly, for the first time in a long time, to rest. He thinks about nothing in particular. He watches the swallows. He listens to the bird. He feels the road under his feet and the warm evening air on his face and the weight of the pack on his shoulder. He walks, and the sun continues its slow descent toward the hills. The sky above continues its slow transformation from gold to deep blue, and the evening comes in gently, like a tide coming in, filling the low places first, the valleys and the hollows between the hills, and then slowly rising. The fields on either side of the road are full of the evening. To his left, a vineyard, the vines trained along low wooden frames, their leaves catching the last of the horizontal light and turning it briefly golden. The grapes still weeks away from harvest, but already full and heavy, dark clusters hanging in the shade of the leaves. Someone has been working in the vineyard today. There are footprints in the soft earth between the rows, a small clay cup left on one of the wooden frames. Forgotten perhaps at the end of the working day, or left intentionally for tomorrow, the worker who left it will be home now, sitting down to dinner, washing the earth off their hands, living their settled-rooted life. To his right, a field of grain already harvested, just stubble now. Short pale stalks sticking up from the dark earth in even rows. A crow walking through the stubble looking for anything that was missed. It walks with the particular unhurried confidence of a crow that has all the time in the world and knows it. It does not look at Gaius as he passes. Gaius watches it for a moment, then he faces forward again. The road, the evening, the hills ahead. Let yourself walk with him. Feel the road under your feet. Feel the warm air on your face. Live for the bird in the trees behind you. 3 notes. High, and then low, and then high again. Fading now as you move away from it. But still there, still singing. You are here on this road in this evening, and there is nowhere else you need to be. After perhaps an hour of walking, the road passes through a small town. It is not a large town, perhaps 500 people, a cluster of stone buildings around a central square. A temple to Jupiter at one end of the square, small and simple, nothing like the grand temples of Rome. The columns plain stone, the steps worn in the centre, the door closed at this evening hour. A few shops with their shutters already closed for the night. A public fountain in the centre of the square where a woman is filling a large clay jug. She does not look up as Gaius walks through. There is a tavern at the far end of the square. The door is open and warm yellow light spills out onto the stones of the square. From inside, the sound of voices. Not many voices. Just a few people having their evening meal and talking in the low, easy way of people who know each other well and have nothing urgent to say. Someone laughs at something, a brief, easy laugh. Then the voices settle back to their low murmur. The smell from the tavern reaches him as he passes. Something cooking, onions and herbs and meat. A rich, warm smell that wraps around him for a moment as he passes the door and then fades behind him. He is hungry. He thinks about stopping, but he decides not to. He wants to make a few more miles before dark. He stops at the fountain. He bends down and scoops water into his hands and drinks. The water is cold, fed by a spring somewhere in the hills above the town, flowing down through stone channels into this basin, cold and clear and tasting of nothing except water itself. He drinks 3 handfuls. He splashes a little on his face. The cold water on his skin in the warm evening air is a small, precise pleasure. The kind of pleasure that only exists when you are tired and warm, and the water is cold. Sibyl complete. He straightens up. He looks around the square. He has passed through hundreds of towns like this one in 20 years. Every province of the empire has its small towns arranged around central squares, with fountains and temples and taverns. The details change. The language of the people changes. The architecture shifts in its particulars. The faces look different. The food smells different. But the structure is always the same. Rome is everywhere. It occurred to him once he was in his late 20s at the time, standing in a square very much like this one, but in the province of Britannia, cold rain falling, grey sky, the smell of wet stone, that Rome had done something remarkable. It had made the whole known world legible. You could walk into any Roman town in any province and know where the water was and where the food was and where the administrative offices were. Everything had its place. Everything was arranged according to the same logic. He found it comforting back then. He still finds it comforting now, though now, for a different reason. Now it comforts him, because it means that wherever he has been, however far from home, He has been somewhere that operated by the same rules as home, a world that made sense in the same way. He has not been as lost as he sometimes felt. He picks up his pack and continues south through the town. On the far side, where the buildings end and the road opens again into the countryside, there is an old man sitting on a low stone wall. He is very old, perhaps 70 or older. He is sitting with his hands on his knees, and his face turned toward the last of the sunset, and his eyes are closed. He is not sleeping. His face is too quiet for sleeping. He is something more deliberate than sleeping. He is sitting. He is just sitting, just being in the evening, like the evening is something to be in. Like it is a place. Gaius walks past him. The old man does not open his eyes, but as Gaius passes he says something, just 2 words, "Safe travels." Gaius slows. He looks at the old man. The old man has not moved. His eyes are still closed, his face still turned toward the last of the light. "Safe travels," he says again, as if he knew Gaius was there the whole time. As if he says it to every traveller who passes this spot at this hour. As if this is his contribution to the world, this small benediction, these 2 words offered to strangers walking roads in the evening. "Thank you," Gaius says, and he walks on into the evening, into the countryside, into the soft darkness that is gathering now in the low places between the hills. He thinks about the old man for a while as he walks, the way he sat there, the complete stillness of him, the way he needed nothing, and asked for nothing, and just offered those 2 words to whoever passed. Safe travels. There is a kind of wisdom in that kind of stillness that Gaius has been too busy to understand until recently. Until these last few days of walking, when you have nothing to do but walk, you start to notice things. You notice the quality of the evening light. You notice the sound of a bird. You notice an old man sitting on a wall, and you think about him for miles afterward. That is something. That noticing, that is worth something. The moon is up, not a full moon, perhaps 3/4, enough to light the road so that the pale stones of the Via Appia seem almost to glow from within in the moonlight. Gaius walks in the centre of the road where the light is best. His shadow walks ahead of him, slightly to one side, a dark companion on the pale stones. He has had this shadow companion many times. On night marches, on guard rotations, on the long watches when sleep was not possible, and there was nothing to do but pace and think and wait for the light. He has become used to his own shadow. It is familiar company. He has been walking for about 3 hours now. He is tired, but it is a comfortable tired. The tired of a body that has done what it was made to do. His legs move steadily. His breathing is deep and regular. The countryside around him is very quiet now. The birds have stopped. The insects have begun. A low, steady sound from the fields on either side of the road. The sound of 1,000 small creatures living their small lives in the warm darkness. It is a comforting sound, like a hum, like the world breathing, like being held inside something much larger than yourself that does not need anything from you, just breathes, just continues. The road stretches ahead of him in the moonlight, straight and pale and certain. The Via Appia does not wander. It does not take the easy path around obstacles. It goes where it needs to go, and the world arranges itself accordingly. He has always admired that about the great roads. The certainty of them, the way they assert themselves on the landscape. Here is the road. Here is where you are going. He reaches into his pack as he walks and finds the piece of hard cheese wrapped in cloth. He breaks off a piece and eats it. The cheese is dry and salty and slightly sharp. Good cheese. He bought it 3 days ago from a farm outside Rome. The woman who sold it to him had very capable hands. The hands of someone who has made cheese for many years. The particular precise movements of long practice. She cut the cheese with a small knife and wrapped it in cloth and handed it to him without weighing it, judging the amount purely by eye and by the confident knowledge of her own product. He gave her the coins she asked for. She nodded, a transaction conducted with complete efficiency and mutual respect, neither of them needing anything more from the other. He ate a piece standing in her farmyard while her dog investigated his sandals with great thoroughness. The dog was large and black with a grey muzzle, old. It sniffed his sandals for a long time, and then looked up at him with ancient liquid eyes that seemed to contain more patience than judgment. He reached down and scratched it behind one ear. The dog accepted this with the dignified gratitude of a creature that has earned the right to be treated well. He thinks of that dog now and almost smiles. He breaks off another piece of cheese and eats it. He thinks about the road ahead. He is perhaps 12 miles from Capua now. He could push on through the night and arrive in the early morning. But he is not going to do that. He has not been home in 20 years. He can wait until morning. He will find a place to sleep tonight, somewhere along the road, and he will walk into Capua tomorrow with the sun fully up and the town fully awake. He wants to see it in the daylight. He wants to see it the way he always remembered it. Sun on the stones, people in the square, the smell of the morning bread from the bakery on the main street. He wants all of that. He does not want to arrive in the dark and see none of it. He turns off the Via Appia onto a smaller road that he knows from memory. He walked this road once before, when he was 21 years old. On his way north to join his legion for the first time, he slept one night beside a stream somewhere along this road. He remembers it clearly even now, the sound of the water, the stars above the trees. The particular feeling of lying on the ground that first night, away from home, and not knowing yet what any of it would be like. He had been afraid that night. Not of anything specific, just of the not knowing. The ahead of him that he could not see. He is not afraid now. The ahead of him is very clear. The smaller road is not paved. It is just packed earth. Well travelled, but not formal. His feet feel the difference immediately. The packed earth is softer than the stone road. Quieter. The sound of his footsteps changes from a solid rhythmic click on stone to something softer and more absorbed. More private somehow, as if the earth is muffling his passage, making room for him. The trees are closer here too, not the cultivated olive groves and vineyards that line the main road, but older trees, oak mostly, wide and dark and unhurried, their branches forming a loose canopy above the road that filters the moonlight into shifting patterns on the ground, shoshkas that move as the breeze moves the leaves. Never the same shape twice, an endlessly patient randomness. He walks through the moving light and shadow. He can hear the stream before he can see it, a quiet persistent sound, water moving over stones. He follows the sound off the road entirely now, walking across the grass, feeling it soft and slightly damp under his sandals. The stream is exactly as he remembered it, narrow enough to step across, running clear and quick over a bed of smooth, pale stones. In the moonlight, the water has a faint silver quality, like something alive, like something that knows where it is going. The flat, grassy area beside it is exactly as he remembered it too, wide enough to sleep comfortably, sheltered on the north side by a low rise in the ground. It is as if it has been waiting for him. He sets his pack down. He kneels at the edge of the stream and cups water in his hands and drinks again. The water is cold from the earth. It has been running through spring water. He can taste the stone in it, the deep underground cold of it. He drinks slowly. Then he sits back on the grass. He looks up, through the canopy of the oak trees above him. The stars are visible, not all of them. The branches and leaves take some, but enough, more than enough, a thick scattering of them in the dark spaces between the leaves, more than he can count. More than he has ever been able to count, despite many years of trying on nights just like this one. He has watched these same stars from Germania and Judaea and Britannia and Gaul and Egypt and Syria and a dozen other places, the same stars, always the same stars. He used to find that comforting when he was far from home, The idea that the stars above him were the same ones above Capua, that his mother, when she was alive, and his sister, and the people he grew up with, were sleeping under the same stars he was watching from a cold riverbank, somewhere at the edge of the empire. The same stars, a shared sky, an invisible connection. He lies back on the grass. The ground is warm still from the day's sun. The grass is soft, not as soft as a bed, but soft enough, soft in the way that the body, tired enough, accepts anything and calls it rest. The stream makes its quiet, persistent sound beside him, and above, through the moving leaves of the oak trees, the stars. He puts his hand into his pack and finds the small bronze Mercury. He holds it in his palm. It is warm from being in the pack all day, smooth from years of handling, the edges worn soft, the face barely visible anymore, just a shape, just a weight, just something to hold in the dark. He closes his fingers around it gently. For the last time, he thinks, tomorrow he will be home. Tomorrow he will put Mercury on a shelf somewhere and not need to carry him anymore. He closes his eyes, the stream, the insects in the grass around him, the faint movement of air through the trees above. Somewhere far away, barely dog barking. Twice, then silence. He breathes in slowly. He breathes out. Let yourself settle here with him, on the warm grass, beside the quiet stream, under the oak trees and the stars. There is nothing to do here, now we're to be. Just the grass, and the water, and the night air, and the stars visible through the moving leaves. Just this rest here for a while, feel the ground underneath you. Real, warm the grass against your back. The air on your face, the sound of water, always the water, moving over its stones, speaking its quiet language that requires nothing from you. Just rest, just breathe, just let the night hold you. He sleeps. And while he sleeps, we stay with him in the darkness, listening to the stream, watching the stars move slowly in their ancient paths above the oak trees. The night is warm, the grass is soft, the stream moves. An hour passes, perhaps two. The stars shift in their slow rotation. The moon moves across the sky between the trees. The damp of the night settles gently on the grass, on Gaius's sleeping face, cool and soft. Not enough to wake him, just enough to notice, if you were watching, the faint shine of it on his cheek. Somewhere in the distance a dog barks once and is silent. An owl calls from somewhere deeper in the trees. Two notes low and then lower. The call of an owl that has found its hunting ground and is announcing it to the darkness, to anything that needs to know. And then silence again, and the stream, always the stream, moving over its smooth stones in the darkness, speaking its quiet language that means nothing and everything. Just water, just movement, just the oldest sound in the world, long before Rome, long before roads and legions and empires, just water moving over stone, just the world doing what it has always done. Gaius sleeps deeply. His breathing is slow and even. His hand is still loosely closed around the small bronze figure. His face in sleep is younger somehow. Younger than 41, younger than 20 years of soldiering. Just a man sleeping on the grass beside a stream. Just a man going home. Let your own breathing slow now. Follow his, in slowly out, slowly in out. The stream, the owl, the stars, the warm ground. The smell of grass and earth and water. Everything is still. Everything is safe. You can rest here as long as you need to. There is no hurry here. There has never been any hurry here. This stream has been flowing for 1,000 years. It will flow for 1,000 more, and it does not know the difference. It just flows. Just rest. Just breathe. Let the water carry the sound. Let the sound carry you down, into the soft dark, into the rest that is always there, waiting, under everything, when the sky begins to lighten in the east, when the deep black softens first to dark blue, and then to the pale grey of pre-dawn. Gaius wakes, not abruptly, not from a bad dream, just slowly. The way a person wakes when they have slept well, and their body has had everything it needed, and is ready to continue. He lies still for a moment with his eyes open. Above him the oak leaves are just visible now. Dark shapes against a slightly lighter sky, the stars are fading. Not disappearing exactly, just becoming less insistent, stepping back as the daylight begins to claim the sky, one by one. The way candles go out at the end of an evening, one and then another, until only the brightest ones remain, and then even those. He sits up. The stream is still talking beside him. It talked all night and will talk all day, and will still be talking when Gaius is long gone from this place. Streams do not care about human time. They have their own time, a deeper time older than memory. He stretches. His back is stiff from sleeping on the ground. After 20 years of sleeping on the ground, his back is always stiff in the morning. He has come to think of it as a kind of morning greeting from his body. "Good morning," says the stiff back. "You are alive." He smiles at this thought. Not for the first time. It is a reliable thought. He cups water from the stream and washes his face. The water is cold in the pre-dawn air, colder than last night. He gasps slightly at the cold water on his face, the cool air, the pale growing light. His body says, awake. He stands, he stretches again. He looks at the stream for a moment. The water in the pre-dawn light has a different quality than it did last night. Last night it was silver. Now it is grey. Cool and grey and moving. He watches it for a moment. Then he eats a handful of the dried figs from his pack. They are sweet and dense and slightly sticky. Good morning food. Food that gives you something to walk on. He looks south. He cannot see Capua from here, but he knows roughly where it is. He knows it the way you know things that are in your body rather than your mind. A knowledge that does not require thinking. He is close enough now that the landscape has begun to feel familiar again, not the specific details. 20 years changes specific details. But the general shape of the land, the way the hills roll, the particular angle of the morning light coming over them, there is something in the light here that is different from the light in other places he has been. Something in the quality of it, the particular gold of the Italian morning light when it comes over those specific hills. He cannot describe it exactly, but his eyes recognize it. His eyes are home already, even if the rest of him is not quite there yet. He picks up his pack. He puts Mercury back inside. One more day, he walks back to the Via Appia. The road in the early morning light is quiet and luminous, the pale stones catching the first light, glowing with it, giving it back to the air. He walks south. He walks steadily. He is not hurrying. He has learned over 20 years that hurrying wastes energy and rarely saves meaningful time. You arrive when you arrive. The road brings you where you are going. Trust the road. The morning is quiet around him. The overnight travellers have found their rest. The daytime travellers have not yet begun. There is a particular quality to a Roman road in the early morning, before the traffic begins. A kind of held stillness, as if the road itself is resting, as if it too needs a few hours of quiet before the business of the day. He walks through the stillness, his footsteps the only sound on the road, and then, as the light grows, other sounds begin. First the birds. Always the birds first. A single bird calling from somewhere to his left, then another answering from farther away, then more, the morning consultation beginning. The birds of the Italian countryside, comparing notes on the night just past, then the sounds of farms waking, a rooster somewhere beyond the tree line, pelted and proud, announcing the day with absolute confidence in its own importance, the low sound of cattle somewhere, the particular call of cattle in the early morning before feeding, a patient and ancient sound. Then the farmers themselves appearing in the fields, a man ploughing with a single ox, the ox moving slowly, the man guiding it with the particular focused patience of someone for whom this is simply the morning's work. Nothing more, nothing less, just the work. The ox turns at the end of a row, the man guides it back. Turn back, a rhythm as old as farming, as old as settled life. Gaius watches him as he passes. There is something deeply restful about that kind of work, the certainty of it. The knowledge of exactly what you are doing and why. He envied it once. Now he is almost able to have it himself. The sun comes up. It comes up orange and round, and slightly flattened at the base by the horizon. It comes up over the hills to the east, and almost immediately begins its work of warming the world. Gaius feels it on the back of his neck, warm and immediate and good. He turns his face toward it for a moment, closes his eyes, feels the warmth spread across his forehead, his cheeks, his closed eyelids, the particular warmth of the first sun of the morning, not the full heat of midday, just the beginning of it, the promise of it. Then he turns back to the road and continues south. The road is waking around him now, the first carts, the first foot travellers. A woman with a large basket on her head, walking with the particular upright, balanced grace of someone who has carried things on their head since childhood. She passes him without looking at him. Two young men walking together in the same direction, talking and gesturing, some argument or discussion that requires the full use of their hands. They part around him without breaking their conversation. A shepherd moving a small flock of sheep across the road from one field to another. The sheep are indifferent to everything except the grass on the other side. They flow around Gaius's legs like water around a stone. One of them stops and looks at him, brown eyes, but pallid, ancient. Then it moves on. He walks through all of it, through the waking morning, through the moving traffic of an ordinary day on an ordinary road. And the hills ahead grow closer. By mid-morning the hills he grew up in are clearly visible. He knows every shape of them. He knows the way the ridge runs along the east side. He knows the particular dip where the river comes through. He knows the dark patch on the southern slope that is an olive grove that was old when he was a boy and is older still now. He stops on the road and looks at them. He stands there for a long time. A cart passes behind him. The driver glances at him, the soldier, standing in the middle of the road looking at the hills. But he says nothing. Travellers have their reasons. Gaius does not notice. He is looking at the hills. He is thinking of nothing. There is nothing to think. He is just looking. Just letting it be real. The hills, the sky above them. The light on them. The specific shape of them against the sky that he has held in his memory for 20 years. He is here. He is looking at them. They are exactly as he remembered. After a while, he starts walking again. And now his feet are not just walking. Now his feet know exactly where they are going, and they move with a certainty that was not there yesterday. The particular purposeful walk of a man who can see home. The road into Capua comes in from the north along the river. Gaius knows this road. He has dreamed of this road. Not dramatic dreams, not emotional dreams. Just ordinary dreams where he was walking this road and everything was normal, and he was simply here. He used to wake from those dreams in camp somewhere, and lie in the dark for a moment not knowing where he was. And then remember, not there, not yet, but now he is here, now he is on this road, and it is not a dream. The road follows the river for a while. The river is low in August, green and slow, and reflecting the blue sky above it. Dragonflies above the water, dozens of them, moving in their particular hovering, darting way, stopping in mid-air and then moving again. Like small flying thoughts, willows trailing their branches in the current, long green fingers trailing in the water, moving gently, the water bending them. A boy on the bank fishing with a long stick and a piece of string. He does not look up as Gaius passes, completely absorbed in the fish he is not catching. Gaius almost stops to watch him. There is something about the boy, the absolute concentration, the complete absorption in the present moment that he finds deeply restful to look at. A boy fishing on a summer morning, not needing the fish, not particularly expecting the fish, just fishing, just being in the act of fishing. Completely present in a way that is difficult to achieve and easy to recognize, Gaius watches him for a few seconds as he passes. Then he walks on. The first buildings of Capua appear low stone buildings at the edge of town, a storehouse, a building that might be a small stable. Two men loading something heavy onto a cart in front of a warehouse. They talk to each other while they work. Short practical words, the language of shared work, then more buildings, closer together. The road becoming a street, narrowing. The walls of buildings on either side. He passes the first fountain. He stops and drinks. The water tastes different here. He cannot explain exactly how, but it does. Different minerals in the ground, perhaps, or just the particular water of this particular place, that his body remembers even if his mind does not. Or perhaps it is only that he knows where he is now. And knowing where you are changes everything, even the taste of water. He drinks and stands up and wipes his mouth. A woman passes with two children. She glances at him, a traveller, a soldier by the look of him. She looks away. The children do not look away. Children never look away. The older one, a girl of perhaps 8 or 9, stares at him with the absolute frankness of a child who has not yet learned that staring is impolite. He looks back at her. She does not blink. He raises one hand in a small wave. She considers this for a moment. Then she raises one hand back. Then she turns and runs after her mother. He smiles. He continues into town. The streets of Capua are familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. The basic structure is the same. The layout he remembers. The main square is where it always was. The temple is where it always was. The fountain in the center of the square. But the details have changed. A building he remembers as a bakery is now something else. A building that used to be empty is now a shop. The tree in the northwest corner of the square, an old cedar that he climbed as a boy and that he could not have imagined not being there, is gone. A stump where it was, old enough that the stump has worn smooth. He stands at the edge of the square and looks at the stump for a moment. 20 years, of course things change. That is the nature of time. He knows this. He has known it for a long time. And yet, there is always something strange about the specific evidence of it. The stump where the tree was. He looks around the square. People going about their morning business. A merchant arranging goods on a low table outside his shop. Two old men sitting near the fountain in the sun, talking in the slow, comfortable way of people with time and things to say, and no particular urgency about saying them. A dog sleeping near the steps of the temple. The particular heavy sleep of a dog that has chosen its spot carefully and has no intention of leaving it. He looks at the people going about their business, and he wonders if any of them recognize him. Probably not. He was 21 when he left. He is 41 now. 20 years of sun and wind and hard work. He does not look like the person who left. He is not the person who left. But he is here. He is in the square. He is standing in Capua. He crosses the square. He walks through streets he has not walked in 20 years. He does not need to think about where he is going. His feet know. He turns left at the corner, where there used to be a cart maker's shop. The cart maker's shop is still there. A different name above the door, but the same building. The same smell of fresh wood shavings coming from inside. He turns right at the fountain on the smaller street, the fountain where the neighborhood children used to play in summer. He played there once. He was 7 years old, and it was very hot, and his mother appeared from around the corner with a look on her face that was trying to be stern and not quite succeeding. The house is on a small street on the east side of town, a narrow street, quiet, shaded in the morning by the buildings on the west side. He turns onto the street, and there it is, the house where he grew up. It looks smaller than he remembered. That is always the way. The places of childhood are always larger in memory than in life. But it is the same house, the same blue paint on the door, faded now. A softer blue than he remembered, but the same blue. the same low stone step at the entrance, the step worn slightly in the centre, the same vine growing up the left side of the wall. The vine is larger. Of course it is larger, 20 years. He stands in front of the house. He does not move. He is not nervous exactly. He is something more complicated than nervous, something that does not have a simple name. The feeling of standing at the end of something, the feeling of standing at the beginning of something, both at once. He takes a slow breath. He steps forward. He knocks on the blue door. He waits. From inside the house, footsteps, slow at first, then faster, as if someone started walking toward the door and then decided to hurry. And then the door opens. His sister is older. Of course she is older. 20 years. She is 43 now, and there are lines around her eyes that were not there when he left. And her hair is darker with grey in it. And she is also entirely his sister. Entirely the person he grew up with. The same eyes. The same way of holding her head slightly to one side when she is surprised. She stares at him. He stares at her. Neither of them says anything for a moment. And then she says his name, just his name, Gaius, just that. Just his name in her voice in this street, in this town, on this morning. And something in him that has been held tight for 20 years releases entirely. He steps through the door, into the house, into the familiar smell of it, stone and wood and olive oil and something cooking somewhere, into the cool and the quiet. Home. Let yourself settle here. In this quiet house, in this ordinary town, after the long road, after the long years, everything has led here, to this door, to this room, to the simple irreplaceable fact of home. Gaius sits at the table where he ate 10,000 meals as a boy and a young man, the same table worn smooth at the edges from years of hands. His sister brings him water first, a clay cup. Cold water from the household jar that sits near the door. He drinks it slowly. She watches him drink. She is looking at him the way you look at something you have been waiting for. Not with urgency, with relief. He sets the cup down. She takes it and refills it and sets it back. Then she brings bread, fresh bread from this morning. She went to the bakery early, she tells him. She knew he was coming today or tomorrow. She went to the bakery early just in case. The bread is warm. He breaks a piece and eats it. It is different bread than he has been eating for days, better bread. Not because it is made with better flour or by a more skilled baker, but because it is this bread, the bread of this place, the particular bread of home. He eats slowly. His sister sits across from him. They talk, not about the big things, not yet, just the small things, just catching up, just the texture of a life that has gone on without him, and that he is now slowly, carefully, beginning to rejoin. She tells him about the neighbour's new roof, a long story about the neighbour's new roof, and some disagreement about the cost of tiles. He listens. He does not know the neighbour well. He was not here when the neighbour moved in. But he listens to the story, because the story is not really about the roof. The story is about her life here. The small events and ongoing concerns and particular texture of daily existence in this town. The story is her offering it to him. Here, take this. This is what it has been like. He listens carefully. The afternoon sun comes through the small window and falls across the table in a long, warm stripe. The light moves slowly as the afternoon moves an inch, then another. Gaius watches it without quite noticing that he is watching it. A cat appears from somewhere in the back of the house and regards Gaius with the particular dignified suspicion of a cat encountering a stranger in its territory. It sits in the doorway and assesses him. He holds out his hand. The cat considers this for a long moment. Then it approaches, slowly, with great care. It sniffs his fingers. Considers, then pushes its head against his fingers. He strokes it. His sister laughs. She has been trying to make that cat friendly for 3 years. He laughs too. The sound is unfamiliar in his own ears, not because he never laughs, but because this is a different kind of laughing, lighter, easier, the laugh of a man who is not on guard, the laugh of a man who is home. The cat settles against his leg, warm and purring, entirely comfortable. As if it has known him all its life, the afternoon passes gently. They eat, they talk. The cat sleeps against his leg. The street outside is quiet. Occasionally the sound of voices passing, a cart somewhere. Children playing in a yard somewhere nearby, the ordinary sounds of a town in the afternoon. Gaius sits at the table and listens to them, and feels them settling around him like something he had forgotten the shape of. This ordinary life, this ordinary afternoon, this is what he was walking toward for 20 years. Not glory, not victory, not the things that get written down, just this: a table, a sister, a cat, bread and water, the afternoon light moving slowly across the floor, the sounds of a town living its life outside the window. He reaches into his pack one last time. He takes out the small bronze Mercury. He turns it over in his fingers, smooth and warm. The face barely visible but still there. Still Mercury. Still the messenger. Still the one who helped him find his way home. He stands up and looks for a shelf. There is a small shelf near the door. He sets Mercury on it. He steps back. He looks at it for a moment, small and bronze and worn, and still somehow exactly right. There, he does not need to carry it any more. He is home. Evening comes to Capua, the way evenings always come to small towns, slowly, gently, without announcement, the light going golden and then orange and then the long blue of dusk. The sounds of the town shifting, the daytime sounds quieting, the evening sounds beginning. The particular quality of a summer evening in a place where the days are long and the nights are warm and there is no reason to rush indoors, people moving slowly in the streets, neighbours talking across low walls. The smell of evening meals drifting from houses. Gaius and his sister eat dinner at the table. The food is simple and good, lentils cooked with garlic and herbs, slow cooked. The garlic soft and deep flavoured from the long heat, the herbs, rosemary and a little thyme, present but not sharp, bread still warm from the midday loaf, a small cup of local wine. He holds the wine cup in both hands for a moment before drinking, a habit from cold nights in cold places, when you held your cup for warmth. He does not need to do this now, but he does it anyway. Then he drinks. The wine is dry and slightly earthy, good wine. Local wine. He has had wine in many provinces of the empire, the wine of Gaul, the wine of Hispania, the thin sour wine of Britannia. He has developed opinions. This wine is not the finest he has ever had, but it is from here, and that gives it something that finer wines cannot have. After dinner his sister shows him his old room. It has been used for storage in his absence. But she cleared it when she received his letter saying he was coming. The room is small, a bed, a window looking onto a small courtyard at the back of the house, a fig tree in the courtyard that he planted as a boy. It is enormous now, its branches almost reaching his window. He looks at it for a long time. He planted that tree when he was 9 years old. He remembered doing it, the small hole in the earth, the small tree. The care with which he placed it. He was thinking of that tree in Germania. He was thinking of it in Judaea. Just the tree, just the simple fact of it growing, without him continuing to grow, and it did. It grew without him, and now it is here, enormous and old and dark in the evening light, still growing. He changes his clothes. He lies down on the bed. The mattress is stuffed with straw and wool, and is softer than anything he has slept on in years. It feels almost unnaturally soft, like sleeping on a cloud if clouds were made of warm wool and straw. He stares at the ceiling. The same ceiling he stared at as a boy, slightly different now, a crack he does not remember, a darker patch near the corner where rain came in once and left its mark, but the same ceiling, the same room. He can hear his sister moving around in the other part of the house, familiar sounds, small domestic sounds, the sounds of another person living their life nearby. He had forgotten how much he missed that particular thing. Not any specific sound, just the presence of another person, just the knowledge that you are not alone. Outside the window, the courtyard is full of the evening. The fig tree is a dark shape against a lighter sky, its leaves moving very slightly in a breeze that is barely there, just enough to move the leaves. Not enough to feel on the skin, the smallest possible movement, a single star visible above the fig tree, the first star of the evening, appearing just as the sky decides it is dark enough for stars. The air coming through the window is warm and smells of the fig tree and the earth of the courtyard, and some herb, growing in a pot somewhere near the window, rosemary perhaps, or lavender. He cannot tell exactly, just something green and good. He breathes it in, he breathes it out. His eyes are heavy. He has been walking for days. He has been walking toward this for 20 years. And now he is here. And his body knows it. His body has been waiting for safe. And now it is here, this room. This bed, this air, the fig tree outside the window, the star above it, his sisters, quiet movements in the other room. The town outside, settling into its evening, its 10,000 small lives moving toward rest. All of it together, all of it home. Let your breathing slow now. Follow his all the way down, into the soft dark. Into the rest that waits at the end of every long road. The journey is over. You are here. You are safe. The fig tree stands in the courtyard, its leaves moving in the small breeze. The star holds its place in the sky. More stars appearing now as the dark deepens. One by one, the same stars that were above the stream last night. The same stars that have been above this courtyard every clear night for 1,000 years. The warm air moves through the window, and Gaius Valerius Rufus, 41 years old, 20 years a soldier, home at last, sleeps deeply, completely, without dreaming, just sleep, just rest. Just the warm dark, and the soft bed, and the smell of home, and the quiet of a summer night in a small Roman town 2,000 years ago. A night exactly like this one. A peace exactly like this one. The stream is behind him now. The road is behind him. The miles and the years are behind him. There is only this room, this bed, this dark, this quiet, sleeved well. The road is behind you now. You have walked far enough. Rest here, in the ancient quiet, in the warm dark, in the oldest peace there is, the peace of coming home. Good night.